Hey everybody, I'm Danny Knight and welcome to 2021's Living in Harmony Awards ceremony. Living in Harmony is the perfect name. It's something my ancestors passed down through the generations. To live in harmony with oneself, to live in harmony with your friends, your family, and to live in harmony with your greater community. So I recognize this award ceremony to keeping that tradition alive. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory, which is the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respects to the First Nation and Métis ancestors who came before us, and we reaffirm our relationship with one another. 2020 was a big year for race relations across the globe. Each year, the City of Saskatoon proclaims the month of March Race Relations Month to mark the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, observed annually on March 21st. On that day in 1960, police officers opened fire and killed 69 protesters at a peaceful protest against apartheid pass laws in Sharpeville, South Africa. In 1966, the United Nations General Assembly called on its international community to redouble its efforts towards the elimination of racial discrimination. We want to recognize and applaud what you or your classroom has done to work towards the elimination of racial discrimination. The Living in Harmony Awards are part of the city's commitment to an inclusive community where ethno-cultural diversity is valued and welcomed, and where everyone can live with dignity and chase their dreams to their full potential without facing any sort of racial discrimination. The Living in Harmony Awards recognize outstanding achievements contributing to the elimination of racial discrimination. The winners are selected by the City of Saskatoon's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. And now, His Worship, the Mayor, Charlie Clark.
Hello everyone, I am Mayor Charlie Clark, and I am very happy to join with you as part of the 2021 Living in Harmony Awards, here on Treaty 6 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis. The treaty relationship is a very strong foundation for this event today, as the spirit and intent of Treaty 6, as our elders have taught us, is about treating one another as relatives here, to build good relations with each other and with the land that we're on. And this is the work that we have to do together to live out this promise. I really want to thank all of the organizers for making sure that the show continues, even virtually this year. Thank you to Becky Sasakamus-Kuffner and to everyone at the City of Saskatoon who has played a part to make this happen. To all of the members of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee of the City of Saskatoon for your support. Thank you to the teachers and the school staff who helped to promote these awards and encourage students to submit. And to all of you students who took the time to take on the challenge of submitting a poster for this year's Living in Harmony Awards, thank you for pouring your hearts and souls into this. This past year has been an important year for raising awareness about the fact that systemic racism is still affecting far too many people in our society and in our community today. Last summer, millions of people from around the world and thousands of people right here in our city took to the streets to call for change, to remind us that racism is still causing real harm to too many people in our community, and that we must keep working to end systemic racism in society. By participating in these awards, you are carrying on this work. You are being a bridge in our community. You are educating yourselves and others. You are speaking up. And as mayor, I know that we still have much work to do. And I also know that none of us can do it alone. We need each other. We need to build strong bridges between us and not let people divide us. So to all of you students out there who have shared your stories, who have opened your eyes, who are speaking up, keep going. Your work is important. Your story and your truth matter. And it will be up to us working together to build a city where everyone can thrive here in all of our diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now, our next speaker, Namarta Kochar.
Hello everyone, my name is Namarta Kochar, and I am chair of the City of Saskatoon's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee. I'd like to express my sincerest thank you to the City of Saskatoon for inviting me to speak at today's Living in Harmony Awards. I would like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. This year, due to COVID-19, we cannot be together. However, I want to thank you for watching this year's online awards presentation, where we can still celebrate individuals and students that help foster an inclusive community. The Living in Harmony Awards are presented each year by the City of Saskatoon during the month of March, which the city has proclaimed as Cultural Diversity and Race Relations Month. And coinciding with the International Day of the Elimination of Racial Discrimination on March 21st, these awards recognize outstanding accomplishments and contributions to the elimination of racial discrimination in our community. I want to acknowledge the importance of students participating in the Living in Harmony Awards. By participating, you are leading the way to ensure that your school, classmates, and the community are creating an inclusive, safe community where ethnocultural diversity is welcomed and valued. This takes a lot of work, effort, and commitment, and you have stepped up and taken the lead to help create a city that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. We truly honor and value this partnership with you. It is important to remember that the work being done is not just for 1 month. This work is ongoing, and we must all work together to continue to build the best city for everyone. And we need you, the students, to continue to be involved in this very important work. I would like to thank all of the members of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee for their commitment and hard work to promote intercultural harmony and anti-racism, and for selecting the winners of this year's Living in Harmony Awards. Today, as we celebrate this year's Living in Harmony Award winners, I want to thank all students for doing their part to help build a welcoming community for all. Let us continue to work together to create an inclusive community where everyone can thrive. Thank you.
We would like to recognize the 2020 Living in Harmony winners and schools. For Best Elementary School Submission, we have École St. Matthew's School for grades 4 to 6. For Best High School Submission, we have the St. Francis Nehia Bilingual School, the grade 9 class. And for overall poster winner, we congratulate Ariha Imtiaz from Ernest Linder School in grade 8. The Community Recognition Award goes to Dr. Sheila McLean. And now, here are some photos of the 2021 Living in Harmony Award winners and schools.
Indigenous people were shot and killed by police in 8 days.
In all, RCMP took 6 people into custody.
There's a lot of work to be done in this country.
Police set up their own blockade.
We are peaceful people. What is your answer?
Our name is Eco Justice, and we have something to say. Residential schools were real, no one liked it that way. This is for the average person. You need to change your ways. We took the air, we cut the hair. This injustice can't stay. We have to start to care, for this treaty wasn't fair. We took that culture like some vultures. That's more than a pioneer. That's more than a mistake. It's time we made a change. We took that clothes, put them in rows, and now we're all astray. This knowledge isn't new, but trust that it is true. Just because you didn't do it doesn't mean it isn't cruel, and it is not okay. It's time to educate. People still live with their pain every day. It's time we stand together, even if it's in the rain. Their scars are not their memoirs, and they are not their pain. We caused the genocide, and still we stand with pride. We need to speak up and bring truth to our lives. Eco, open your eyes, be a bridge for the people so the people can rise. Eco, it's all worth our time to be a bridge for the people who are trying to survive. Eco, we're here learning the why to be a bridge for the people so the people can climb. Eco, can you catch the vibe? We're here reaching the hearts of the people, right?
History shows us that ordinary people can change unjust laws. It takes bravery and action to stand up against laws that discriminate. Here is a countdown of just 10 examples of changes made in Canada that occurred because of an ordinary citizen's bravery and action.
Canada is a place where people have come from all over the world to pursue their hopes and dreams. A place that honors and respects all faiths, traditions, and religions. A place where our differences are not just tolerated or accepted, but rather acknowledged, protected, and honored. Where we have clean air and clean water. We also are thankful to the Indigenous people in Canada who have allowed us to walk freely on these lands. We have achieved much in the last 150 years. We've also made mistakes. And let us also pledge to do more, to be better.
I never thought I'd know that feeling. To be in love. Because for us, it was a crime.
1970s, the federal government, partly in order to meet its obligations to educate Aboriginal children, began to play a role in the development and administration of these schools. Two primary objectives of the residential school system were to remove and isolate children from the influence of their home, families, traditions, and cultures, and to assimilate them into the dominant culture. These objectives were based on the assumption that Aboriginal cultures and spiritual beliefs were inferior and unequal. Indeed, some sought, as was infamously said, to kill the Indian in the child. Today, we recognize that this policy of assimilation was wrong, has caused great harm, and has no place in our country.
To announce on behalf of Canada that we are now a full supporter of the declaration without qualification.
Idle No More started off as a grassroots movement, but it quickly grew into one of the biggest social movements in Canada, bringing Indigenous issues into the mainstream consciousness. 5 years later, many of the issues facing Indigenous peoples in Canada still remain.
Well, that's it for 2021's Living in Harmony Award ceremony. Before we leave, I'd like to give a shout out to Black Lives Matter, YXC, the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission, and finally, the City of Saskatoon's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. Something to take with you throughout the rest of your day is that living in harmony is something you work towards every moment of every day. It's very easy to become a dissonant voice, but it's very hard to sing in a choir of love, affection, and giving. So please move forward with courage and love in your heart. I'm Danny Knight. Have a great rest of your day.